Trippers of Reddit, seriously, how much money do you make? I've been a female tripper for 6 months. It's very up and down, but overall the best money I've ever made by far. I don't have a schedule, and sometimes I'll go in for 2 hours and make $400. But there are those nights where I go in all night and make $30. One time I actually cried, because I had a horrible night. Only made something like $20, and then I went over what I'd made that week. I'd worked 3 days and made $600 total, and I laughed at myself, because that's twice what I made in a week at any previous job I had. It's pretty decent money. Hi, I'll tell you what I made over the last 2 weeks. Sunday for $9, $450, Wednesday $9, $2, $584, Friday $9, $4 a.m., $680, Saturday $9, $3 a.m., $520, Monday $9, $2, $275, Thursday $9, $2, $230, Friday $9, $4 a.m., $946. I am female and work at a trip club that is near a football and baseball stadium. Over the summer I did better, and today I have worked for 9 and hope to make $450. I used to be a male tripper for that stereotypical genre of struggling college student. I would make between $500 and $1,000 a weekend, but there was a busy weekend. A single party would probably net me about $150 after driver's fees. The agency I worked for handled the initial payment, and they would always double up the guys. One driver, one tripper, and I would have to give him and sometimes her 10% of the final take. Remember, these women would pay in dollar bills, and I didn't do anything shady on the side, but I am sure others did and made a hell of a lot more than I did. My friend trips and had about $65K in her bank account after about 4 months, but she also lived at home, was not in college, and had a day job at a coffee shop too. She had a crazy body and worked at a top club in a major city. She said she never did anything too shady as far as straight-up prostitution, but she did have a sugar daddy or two at any given time. It was like she was living a double life or something. Former tripper checking in. I made enough money to open up my own successful business, although I closed it after hell in my personal life. My savings account used to sit comfortably in 5 figures at the age of 19. Although a lot of girls blow their money. Day shift I'd average $200 for a quick 4 or 5 hour shift. Weeknights varied widely, $150 minus $300 average. Weekends $200 minus $450 average. Most I ever made in a night was $1,200 after tip out and house fees. Circa $1,800 before tip out and house fees. Do you need to be packing serious firepower to be a tripper? I'd consider it, but floppy me isn't all that. IRS guy here. I have nothing to contribute, just observing. Had a friend who worked in a really nice cabaret in the big city. She told me she last worked Thursday, Sunday, made $200 Thursday, $1,200 Friday, $800 Saturday, and $1,000 Sunday. She explained, though, that it was all dependent on who came in, as it was mostly big businessmen with the company credit cards who came to her business. Either way, she was pretty set and had paid off her first semester of school, which she hadn't started yet. My crotch only takes 20s, David. I only dance once a week, since I make the majority of my money escorting. I work in Portland, which is the WPRST place to trip. The largest amount of clubs, hundreds of girls competing for the same dollar, etc. In the Shooty Dive Club where I dance, I typically make $200 in 4 hours. Please note that I do not hustle or really put much effort into it, so that's maybe $80 in lap dances and the rest in stage tips. To break it down further, on an average 6-dancer rotation of stage sets, I'll be on stage 6 times, and make about $20 per stage set. That would be about $10 per 2-dance set, at 3 minutes per song. That's just under $2 a minute. If any of my math is incorrect, please bear in mind that I dance naked for a living. I used to trip paint for $12 an hour. Just so you know, most trippers won't be up this early. They'll be passed out from a likely successful Saturday night winking face. But as an ex-tripper, and having known and talked to a lot of dancers, I can say that the pay tends to vary depending on multiple factors. Right now, business should be picking up due to the colder weather. In the summertime it's usually slow, because men are vacationing with their families, the kids are out of school, and there are more activities to do outside. Little did you know, most dancers are independent contractors and have to pay the club each night to dance, plus tip the bartenders, the bouncers and the DJ. The difference could end up being $1,000 or it could be $-12. Had a friend who was a tripper. She claimed to pull down $1,000 easy on a banging busy night. Dated a former, very high-end, tripper. From what I was told by her, she could make around $1,000 to $2,000 a night on a Sunday. Her fee was usually about $3.5K for the night when doing a private house party, usually 4 athletes in the city. This is when they would send a handful of the best-looking women out to just dance on tables topless, be flirty, serve drinks, etc. Friend would make $1,500 a week off of one guy. He was a regular and would come in 3 times a week. Just give her $500 each time, and after a while they would just talk. Enough to pay their way through college. Maybe I should start. I somehow missed the part where you asked trippers about how much they make, and thought this post was asking all Redditors how much they make and what they do. I was seriously confused as to why all of Reddit is made up of trippers. Frick college. I should be a tripper. The company I work for used to pay around $12 per hour depending on experience, but when desktop publishing and digital plate making came around, trippers were phased out. I would bet there aren't any printing companies that still use them. I've never tripped professionally, but I've dabbled in different adult industries. The biggest question I always get is, aren't you in danger? Don't you deal with a bunch of creeps? Short answer, no, not really. Long answer, only as much danger/creeps as you get in any other job. Heck, I think I experience more danger in my retail jobs than I do in the adult industry. Certainly more creepy folks. Retail work puts you in a role where people assume they're allowed to treat you like crap, and you get paid crap. In the adult industry, you're dealing with people who can afford your services. The more pricey the service item, the more likely you're dealing with people who have important lives of their own and are simply there to do business. You're also, for some reason, usually treated better, more dignity. Somehow, the big thing to remember is that people will only value you as much as you value yourself. If you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. For those who are considering tripping adult industry work, now that you've read the thread and all, just keep your wits about you and make smart choices. Often your experiences will be based on the mindset that you have. Become cool, collected, and confident in your decisions, and things will generally be okie dokie. I used to trip for 6 years here. It's the only trip club in town and most of the women are from Mexico and, well, the owner would say there is a girl for everyone. All they did was shake their ass on stage and twirl. I was the only pole dancer and I'm German, so I have that going for me. Anytime I saw a white guy walk in, I knew they were mine. I had a whole story about me, and had what the employees called the X stare. I went by X, by the way. Anyway, I got pretty good at my game, and for the last 3 years that I was there I was going up to VIP at $500 an hour. On a slow night I'd go home with $1,000. On a good night, like Fridays, Sundays and Mondays, I'd go home with at least $3,000. Not a tripper, but my place of work has male trippers on the weekends. At least $500, bare minimum. I asked one of them one night if it's worth becoming a tripper for all of that money. He said no. Hey, current manager at the club in the Northwest. Girls here average around $100–500 a night. On a good busy night, they can walk away with up to $1,000. On average, some of these girls are better off getting minimum wage jobs. I've dropped $300 in a trip club in 2 hours. Now multiply that times roughly 150 people in the club, and the place is open for about 8 hours. I work a day shift 2 to 3 days a week, 2 p.m. - 7 p.m., anywhere from $500 to $2,000 a shift, most times $1,000 to $1,500. I'm a bouncer door guy at a trip club in NY, and I've seen some of the ladies leave with anywhere from owing money to the club to upwards of $1,800 on a given night. Most of the girls also develop regulars that will come in every so often and give them gifts. Sometimes it's $50, sometimes it's a new car. It all depends on how good the girl can suck the guy in, and how willing the guy is to reciprocate. Tripper here. So I notice that a lot of you girls are in America. I trip in England, and I can tell you right now I've decided to move and dance in America after reading this. We have an average of 4 guys coming a night on weekdays and around 50 a night on weekends, so some days I literally will not make a penny. Also, in the UK it's not a big thing to tip on stage like it is in the US. I think I've been tipped on stage twice in my whole 2 years dancing, because I guess guys prefer to use the money for private fully nude dancers over here. This week I earned £900 Friday, £769 Saturday, but Tuesday and Wednesday I made £80. I definitely save all my money for bad weeks just to pay bills. I wish women were as horny and as stupid as us. I would be on that pole. I only work 2 nights a week, and usually Friday 300-500 and Saturday 500-800. Definitely depends. I've gone home with $800 and I've gone home owing the club money, but usually I make 200 plus, which is pretty good considering I'm one of like 5 girls that doesn't suck dong for $30 at my club.